Oh, is he frozen?
Hello.
Am I frozen?
Can you hear me, Arian?
Yeah.
How are you feeling after that one, my friend? How are you after a 3-4 defeat to Chelsea?
Dejected, annoyed, angry, whatever.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, where do I start, dude? Where do I start? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, maybe we can start with the game itself, Arian. Like, where did we go wrong? Was it Ange? Was it the players? Was it a bit of both? Is this Levy's fault? Like, where
I'll
does
tell
the
you why
blame
it's
lie?
Levy's fault. I'll tell you. Chelsea, in the midweek against Southampton, rested 8 of their starting 11 players. Go look at the starting 11. 8 of the players who started against Southampton did not start this game. And the ones that did went off very early in the game. We have been playing effectively the same 11 for how many months? And I'm not saying that Ange is faultless or the players are faultless or anybody is faultless, but like you said, the difference between us and Chelsea is $1 billion. They are in a different stratosphere to us. They are a big club, and we aren't. We aren't. We can say we are because of history. We can say we are whatever. We've been in the Premier League for X amount of time. We have the whatever. Of the 100 highest paid players in the Premier League, 5 of them play for Tottenham. That's insane. It's a fucking joke. And we see it, and it gets the gap between us and the teams ahead of us get bigger every single year. Every single year. That's it. That's it. We can sack Ange, and in 18 months we're all going to be here talking about how Graham Potter's level was always Brighton. Thomas Frank's level was always Brentford. Whoever's level was always this, that, and the, that's it. We can always do it. And Levy has us exactly where he wants us. Like you said, when we're divided, we're not going to be able to unite anywhere. But this is exactly what he wants. That's the reality. And this is just life as a Spurs fan. Personified today.
No, I can feel your frustrations, Ariane, and look, I think we're all there, and we all kind of don't really know where to go from here. And you know, you're hearing all the voices of your Ange Ins, your Ange Outs. For me, that's not even really the question that needs to be asked at this stage.
Agreed.
But I will ask you the hard question, Ariane. Where do we go from here? You know, there is a huge debate within the fan base now. Ange In, Ange Out. I'm firmly Ange In because I just don't think Ange Out. I think that plays into Levy's hands quite personally.
Exactly.
You know,
personally. I'm 1,000% right there with you. I think the only thing we can do is hold our ground. That's the only thing. And by the way, all these fans saying just adapt, just sit it out. This was the exact same group of fans that was saying, look, if we're losing, I just want to have a go. Not a year ago. Do we remember that? Do we all remember that? Oh, if we lose, as long as we give it a go. That was the whole sentiment just a few years, not even a year ago. Maybe just over a year ago. Okay?
People are tired of the attacking football now. People are tired of the attacking football.
People are tired of
results.
the club. There's always a boogeyman. People are just tired of how shit the club is. But they're tired of the institution, but they're never going to say it. What we're actually tired of is how we have no ambition ever. It's not the defensive football. Because if defensive football was tiring, none of those managers would exist. None of them would be in business. Some of the best teams in the world play defensive. You think Inter fans are tired of Inzaghi? I don't think so. You think Juve fans got tired of Allegri when they were winning every title? I don't think so. I don't think they were tired. People are tired of no success. People are tired of constant failure. People are tired of no investment. Of the fact that we act and we spend like a club in the mid-table. That is what people are tired of. And there's always a boogeyman. There's always a manager. There's always a player. There's always a tactic. There's always a style. There's always a this. There's always a that. It's none of those things. It's the board and it's the constant failure. That's what people are tired of.
And just going on to today's game, Arian, quickly.
Yeah.
Like, because obviously, yes, I get it is on Levy. It is, you know, we can say much about the board. But Ange today, is he not culpable for anything, for like tactics wise, when, you know, we are 2-0 up?
He's not faultless.
So where did he go?
Also,
Where did he go? Where did he go wrong today? What we've spoke about leaving now. Let's talk about the game itself. Where did Ange go wrong today? To the reason why we had a 2-0 lead and we've ended up losing. Well, at one point we were 4-2 down.
Look, it's a bit weird. Like, I get the thing with Basuma, and I am sick of Basuma like anybody else, and I probably would have brought Archie Gray for Basuma. But first of all, there's no guarantee that works. And second of all, I know everyone's been criticizing the decision of to bring in the center backs, and they've just been hurt. I think Van de Ven is actually fine, and he had a small just strain or something, and he's fine. But even if he's not, like, is anyone gonna pretend like they were gonna give him grace had he started Dragusin and Gray, and we got thumped 4-0? Like, no one was gonna give him grace for that anyway. So he has his hands tied behind his back, and yes, maybe he should have brought on Gray for Basuma. Like I said, I would have, but I can't sit here and pretend like, first of all, that was guaranteed to work because Chelsea had us on the ropes the whole game anyway, and I can't pretend like, that was such an obvious change, and that's why. Because the same reason that we were 2-0 up is the same reason we were 4-2 down, because of that's how we play, and that's the only way we can play. And even if it wasn't, we don't have anybody else. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing. Bentancur's banned, and we have our 2 center backs injured. Vicario's not injured. Any attacking options that we had, like maybe in Moore, he's ill, and we didn't spend remotely enough to get any decent cover. Richarlison's also injured, and Odegaard, I forgot about them. Like, we have nothing. We have nothing. And as much as he could have done things differently, he could have been more pragmatic, I suppose, and drop in the line. But free-flowing football, Chelsea had 70% of the ball. We were forced into our own half anyway. So what he could have done besides maybe sub in Basuma, but there's no guarantee that would have been significantly different, because Sarr gave penalty away as well. It wasn't just Basuma. So what am I supposed to say? It's
but
just
do you not think,
the level.
Yeah, but you say Sarr gave away the penalty, but that's a catalogue because of the errors that Basuma was causing in the first half. And I'm not saying it would have worked, but you could clearly see that Basuma wasn't having the best. He wasn't having the best of games.
He was off it.
I agree with you. Yeah, I would have. I don't like. I'm not a fan of Basuma, and I would have taken him off.
But is it more of a case of, because as soon as he made the changes at 4-2, yes, Chelsea would have eased off a little bit, but we started to get more of a foothold in the game when we had fresher legs on.
It's not, but you're underselling eased off a little bit. Their whole they basically had a different team out there, and they clearly took their foot off the gas. Like, it's not. There's no universe where we come back from that game if he makes those subs 10 minutes earlier or 15 minutes earlier. I don't believe that. I don't, and I think really the biggest thing is the fact that they were a much fresher team. We've been running these players into the ground.
I would argue, though, ARIAN, that if he had made subs at half time, he could have changed the result of that game, because we were still 2-1 up. We were still 2-1 up. We were in the ascendancy. We let Chelsea onto us in that first 10 minutes of the second half. We just let them pile onto us and pile onto us.
And he did have a player on the bench called James Maddison.
Exactly. And this is
we
where I
let
get
them
frustrated.
onto us after the second goal. Not at halftime. And James Maddison, as brilliant of a player as he can be sometimes, he has his fair share of bad performances, and he is not going to be someone you want to bring in to steady a game. And we all know that. I mean, we all know he's the player that is the most reliant on the momentum. If you bring him on trying to shift the momentum, I don't think it's ever worked. And we've tried it with the Void Maddison. I don't buy the whole subs thing. And I think it's all ifs, buts, and maybes, and it's all because Maddison got an assist, albeit a good one, against a Chelsea team that was basically completely different to the one that we were playing in the first and second half for the most part, that completely took their foot off the gas. I don't think it's fair to make that comparison. And I'm not saying Ange's faultless. I'm not saying he could have done anything differently, but I'm like, it's just the wrong thing to focus on. It's not the real issue.
I would argue with that, ARIAN. Yeah. I would say that those if, buts, and maybes, they are what makes a manager's decision, like their career even. Like, you look at Pochettino, not playing Mora in the final probably cost him his job, like in the long run for Spurs. And for me, I'm looking for my managers. I've always looked at Ange, and I love Ange. I love the way he goes about his business, and I love the fact that he's one-track minded in his thought about how football should be played. There are elements that I absolutely adore. However, I've seen it in game after game that he's not willing to make changes early enough to affect games. And I think, again, today is evidence of that, because, Marlon, we're sat here watching the match, we can see Bissouma's a bit off it.
Yep.
We can see something's not quite right. That first goal, he should have been closing out. He just dangles a leg, ARIAN. That's so lazy.
Yeah.
That's how I would play on a five-a-side pitch here in London. That's not how you play on the world stage at the Tottenham
100%
Hotspur
agree with you.
Stadium. So, like, I get where all the kind of heat for Ange is coming off this one.
I understand it. I simply think it's a misdirected anger, and I think it's by design. Like I said, I think this is exactly where this is where Levy wants us. And he's gonna die for his sins again. It's gonna happen. Like, it's going to happen. And like I said, in 18 months, we're all gonna be talking about how Frank is out of his depth, or Potter's out of his depth, or Howe is out of his depth, or whoever, someone. Everyone's out of their depth here because this place is 12 feet deep of shit. That's what it is.
All right then.
Yeah, it's tough to really disagree with you there, ARIAN. 7 losses.
Yeah.
And it's not even Christmas.
21 in his whole tenure as well, and he's not even close to. He's close to Conte and Mourinho already.
Rangers and
less
Southampton are going to be huge.
Basically, where does he go from here? If he loses to Southampton next week,
Oh, he's gonna go at some point. I probably think he's like the fixtures we have: Man United in the cup, Liverpool, Rangers also tough. Obviously, Southampton, we have that curse. Something's gonna happen. Something's gonna give. He's gonna go. Mason's going to be in charge for a couple months. We're going to get rejected by 8 managers.
Oh, I don't want to hear that, ARIAN. I really.
It's gonna happen. Like, I don't want to hear. I stuck my neck out for him for an hour and 40 minutes against Sava a week ago.
Yeah.
And that's not going too well now.
And I don't think I was wrong in anything I said. I think again he's going to die for Levy's sins. It's going to happen. Because we don't like, and people saying bring in Andoni Iraola. There is a culture at this club of no patience, and I understand wanting results. Iraola lost about 20 games last season, something like that, and now they look brilliant. Every other club has this can accept patience. Arteta, you just said, well, we banged on about Arteta, or not you, it was the other guy, but Arteta had a very similar run to this in his own first season.
He didn't lose. Yeah, he didn't lose as many games, but he had a similar run. He had more
He had a
draws
similar
against his. No, he had more draw. He didn't lose because at this precise moment, the first 50 games, Postecoglou has lost more than Klopp, lost more than Arteta. He's won equally, but he lost a lot more. What you have to realize is that they drew a lot more games.
Yeah.
So it's the loss.
He's a bit more volatile. I get that.
It's the losses that are causing the issue. Because if you lose, it's going to cause a negative effect, which is going to do. If he had drawn today, none of us are coming on here today.
Even against Brighton, if we had nicked a point against Brighton or nicked a point from Palace, considering the collapse, there would be a lot less frustration.
And we wouldn't be using Ipswich, Palace, Bournemouth, and all that as an excuse if some of those were draws.
Yeah.
Because no one has mentioned Fulham last week. Not nobody, because we didn't lose.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem with Ange. It's how many games he loses, right? And that's what the problem is. Because at the moment, what is it? 6 and 7?
6 and 7.
Yeah.
And we're at 6 and 7.
Yeah. And we're not even halfway through.
Or 6, 2 and 7.
Yeah. And we're not even halfway through the season. So this is why Ange, sometimes you have to look at it and go, is he just the right fit for this club right now? And that's where, no matter what we want, it's more. Like, I'm going to say this. It's about what the board want, because no matter what we want, they don't fully invest in. They didn't fully invest in Jose. They didn't fully invest in Conte after we wanted them as fans, and then we wanted attacking football, and they haven't really fully invested in Ange.
Look,
if we're
when
being
you were saying,
honest.
like in the last call, do we need a manager for the board? That doesn't exist. Like what I'm saying is that's a fairy tale. There is no manager that is right for this board. It's not a thing,
There has
right?
been.
Poch was.
There has been. Redknapp
Poch wasn't even right for this board. Poch was just a miracle worker, is what he was.
Yeah, but that's
what happened to Poch
That's what the board wanted,
That's what the board
ARIAN.
want.
They wanted a
A
miracle
miracle worker is a unicorn. They don't exist. They're fairy tales.
But Martin Yole, Redknapp, and Poch were the sort of managers they want, who can work, like especially Redknapp.
Work with a budget.
Work
with a budget.
Here's some
Nico
players,
Crancher.
but I don't have to go too big for you.
Yeah. Yep.
You can't.
So they do exist.
They want. I get it, but whatever. Once it happens, it's gonna, like, here's the thing. We all know it's gonna. The writing's on the wall. It's gonna happen. Once it happens, I'm gonna be so incredibly apathetic. I don't even know if I might not watch some of the games, and that's never happened, because I'm on the brink. Like, what do you try? What do you actually try? What is there left to try? Have we tried defensive football? Have we tried offensive football? Have we tried someone like Poch? Have we tried someone like? What is there left? Who is left?
I've got one thing for you, Arian.
Hold on, we got a super chat for ARIAN as well. Someone's got a super chat for
the
it.
$1 billion method. That's what I want to see done.
That won't happen.
But Spurs would mess that up too. If we done what Chelsea done, they'd mess it up.
Okay, do you know what then? Go 200 million and just get me 2 world-class players to add to this squad. Two world-class players.
I want Bryan Mbeumo.
2. And Creature.
Defensive midfielder.
There we go. 2, just 2.
Here's what
Just
I'm saying
two.
though, like,
Yeah,
what's
go
up?
on. There was a super chat for you as well from John,
Okay.
the John Cooper show. He's gone, ARIAN, I want an apology to Sava.
No, I'm not
that's
going to
what
give
the
him that
super chat-
apology. I'm not going to give him. I don't think I was wrong about Ange. I will not apologize, Saba. I don't take anything I said about Ange back. Not one bit, not one word about Ange I said was wrong. Because the problem isn't Ange. That's what I'm telling you. The problem is not Ange. The problem is that what I'll tell you this. Once we get rid of Ange, he will go somewhere like Leeds, bring them up. Next season, we're going to get thumped wherever he goes. I'm telling you that's going to happen. Because at that point, we're going to be at this end of the cycle with another manager. That's what's going to happen.
Do you know why I think that? Look, what you just said, I kind of don't agree with, because I get what you mean about Leeds, yeah, and I get, he would bring them up. But I look at someone like Southampton, who are trying to play exactly the same way, but they don't have the players to play it. And we're kind of in that situation. We don't have the top players to be playing Ange Ball system.
No, but we don't have the squad to play it. We have the 11
squad.
to
Yeah,
play
we have the
it.
11, yeah. I
Because
agree
we
with that,
just
yeah,
did
yeah.
what
I
we
agree,
did
yeah,
to City. So we have the 11. And that's not even the 11. We have the 13 or 15. We don't have the 23 to compete.
You say that, but if
compete.
you go back to Newcastle, Arsenal, and I can't remember who we lost to, and even Brighton, then players weren't injured. Apart from Sonny, we had an 11, but they were still losing games. So it's ifs and buts. So it's all good, yeah. If he went to somewhere like Leeds, he'd be successful to a certain point, and then it would be exactly what Southampton are trying to do now.
I'm giving you an example. I think Russell Martin is not remotely on the same caliber as Ange, but I'm not here to get into that debate. My point is, wherever he goes, we will meet Ange again, and we will get thumped. We will get thumped because we're going to be at some point with a different manager, this exact spot. This is not the first time we've been here. This is not the first time. How many managers have we called clueless in the last 10 years? How many?
Yeah.
Or 5, I guess, because Poch took 5 of those years. How many managers have we called clueless in 5 or 6 years? 6, 7, 5? How many? Stellini, Mason, Jose, Conte, Nuno. Ange.
I did not call Jose and Conte clueless. No. Everyone was against.
Oh, I didn't. I called Conte clueless, to be honest, but I was never. I was
really?
never off the Jose thing.
I would never.
I think the Conte thing. You guys are right about that. I think he was not in the headspace, and he was making horrible decisions and horrible.
Oh, mate, he wanted out, mate. He was not okay when he was with us.
That second season, because he had too much going on.
I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but I'm saying generally, like in that season, he had to go because he kind of like Ange. I'm not saying he was not faultless. Neither is Ange. Ange is not faultless, but he is not the problem at Spurs. And I think if you think that we're gonna get anywhere with him, and I think kind of like Sava, who hates Levy, right? I think when you say things, and you guys have made this point, when you say Ange out, you're giving Levy a bye. You're letting somebody go under the bus for him again and again and again. It doesn't work.
I can't agree with you more on that statement, and that is why, with all the people that are Ange out, I just want them to think about what are the consequences of that, because I do not want any more goes on the merry-go-round, the manager merry-go-round. I'm done with that. I'm done.
It's just, for me,
you
it's
give
just
Levy something to say.
I'm done. I don't want it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm with you on that, Arian. I'm with you. But thanks for calling in, and try to just forget about Spurs until Thursday night. Then you can go back to Ange In or out.
If he gets beat by Rangers, Jesus.
Oh mate, I don't even want to think about it. Yeah, it's over. So that's why I'm saying Rangers and Southampton, because we could even beat Rangers and lose to Southampton. He's still gone. I reckon.
He can't lose to Southampton.
Yeah, he can't lose to Southampton. Yeah.
I think he gets to the semi-final. I think he'll
the Carabao Cup?
Yeah, not the semi-final, the Man United game, the quarter-final. He'll get that game. I think he's got till then.
Okay. Time will tell.
That. I mean, look, even a final, that's not protected a Spurs manager. before? Like what?
Nope.
He won't make the same mistake twice. He won't. Even I
Maybe?
can't see that.
Lightning can sometimes
I know,
strike twice.
if he made that twice, I wouldn't know where
Oh,
to
he
go.
would.
Oh.
I might have to be.
I think with
We
Josie,
Are
to be fair, what
TV
it
or
was.
something. Because that would kill me.
To be fair, not fair, but I think with Jose, what it was he knew if Jose wins that, he is invincible, and he can't live with an invincible Mourinho. He can't. He knows that. I think it was more insurance than it was anything else.
Yeah. He'll
But,
never live it down though.
Yeah.
Yeah. He isn't.
All
He
right.
needs to not live a lot of things down, whatever it is.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Nice one for calling in. And
And as always, come on, you Spurs!
come on.